If you feel like you are constantly dying while trying to throw grenades in Tarkov, then this video is for you. I'm Jessekazam, and welcome back to another Escape From Tarkov video. This is another one of our lessons from Beyond the Grave, where we take a look at a clip from my stream where I died, and we break down what happened, what we could pull from that to be better next time. I stream Escape From Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. And before we jump into the video, I want to thank this video's sponsor, Skillshare. If you've been around my content for any amount of time, then you'll know that kind of fundamental to who I am is learning what we did wrong in a fight, just like in videos like this, learning what we did well, learning new mechanics about the game, learning how we can become better players. Learning has always been kind of core and fundamental to who I am, in and outside of gaming, which has made this partnership with Skillshare so special. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creatives and curious people to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity. There are tons of classes on the website for just about anything that you want to do. There's stuff if you're interested in getting started on Twitch, there's classes for that, breaking down Twitch and OBS. If you want to start editing your own gameplay, there's tons of video editing classes on multiple different video editors. I personally have always been excited and interested about photography as it's so closely related to videography, which is what I've done in the past. And I've been taking the DIY product photography class, which is actually taught by the guys over at Mango Street Lab, which is a YouTube channel that I've been watching for years. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes. So you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And the annual membership ends up coming out to less than $10 a month. And on top of all that, the first 1,000 people that click the link below are going to get a free trial of their premium membership so that you can explore your creativity. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the video. So as always, what we'll do is we'll watch the clip back in its entirety and then kind of go back through and talk about what went wrong. So the setup here is it's me and a duo. We're on reserve. We're PvPing in one of these pawn buildings with multi-levels. We're hearing people running downstairs, and we're kind of trying to identify how many there are and where they're coming from. And then this happens. So let's take a look. I just saw one. They're in the hall. Dead. One's dead. Vector go Burr. Thank you for all the follows coming in, by the way. Is he at the other end of the hall?
Across the two. Yeah. He's here. 1 second.
I just saw him. Oh no! I'm dead. He baited me. He's just at the other end of the hall. So that, I mean, you could tell that I immediately kind of like super regretted that decision and immediately saw what he did there. Whether that was intentional or unintentional by him, that specific situation has happened to me quite often. So as normal, we'll kind of walk through the first part of the clip. We're doing pretty good. We kind of climbed up the outside of this building. We hear some people come in. I see his shadow and call out that I just saw him. They're pushing third. Vector just absolutely annihilates this guy. And while I'm, kind of backing off and packing mags, because you dump mags really quickly with this thing, we're kind of communicating. He pushes up a little bit. He sees that the guy's on second. He takes a few shots, calling out that he's on the back end of the building at the other end of the hall. So we're doing pretty good at talking about what's happening here. We heard the footsteps. We know that there's two. So we're kind of just trying to play out and figure out what we need to do to get this guy. He calls that this guy's being a little bit more aggressive. He's moved up to another floor. I can hear that my teammate went down these stairs, and it sounds like he's between the two floors healing after that little firefight. As soon as I peek out, I see this guy. I see him running, and you can kind of see me do like a really quick hallway check there where I'm not really aiming down sights trying to kill anybody. I just want to get information. And during that check, I see him and I miss my opportunity for him. So I kind of like regroup and I'm looking for him. I now peek the corner ADS ready to go, and he's not there. Now, what I want to do is potentially push him, or at least give me some time to kind of coordinate with my teammate on what we want to do. If we kind of want to do a split where he pushes second and I push third. So in order to buy that time, I want to just lob a grenade down there and keep him inside that room as long as possible. Now, grenades are such an interesting tool in Escape from Tarkov. A lot of times grenades are more often than not like actual tools, and you don't really get a tons of kills with them, but you can push your enemy where you want them to go with grenades. You can keep them in cover or keep them in a room like this. That was my idea. You can force them out of cover if you're trying to get a good kill on somebody. Even if you throw them at a bad angle, a lot of times just hearing the little tink, tink, tink of a grenade landing on the ground is enough to get your enemy moving, and that could be what you want to do. In this instance, I was trying to keep him in the room, and if we break down, I mean, obviously what happened is as soon as I start the grenade animation, I see him peek out, and I yell no before I even threw the grenade, and I fell over dead. Now, we can kind of analyze this situation and realize, like, when is it a good idea and not a good idea to be throwing grenades? When you kind of look at this is probably not a great hallway to throw grenades down. The first reason is there is pretty limited visibility. Like, you can see my arms are down. I've initiated the grenade animation, but he peeks out. He's right there, and you can barely see him. And then secondly, and this is the big thing, is that the best way to throw grenades in a situation like this is really tightly around a corner. Maybe initiate the animation while you're still in cover and then peek out really quickly. I'm kind of standing in the middle of the hall, and this makes it infinitely more difficult. If this whole metal piece wasn't here, I could use this wall as cover and then just peek out. But if I tried to do that, it would just hit this. There's absolutely no way in Tarkov land the grenade would go through this. It would just bounce back at me. So you kind of have to expose yourself out in the middle of the hall. And even if I wanted to throw a grenade down this hall, I should have started from behind cover and moved out of cover. So kind of everything I did here, I wouldn't recommend. I was way too exposed down a hallway. He spotted me, I spotted him, and I went to go throw a grenade. I really wish I had a clip of it. I wanted to use another clip where we talk about like throwing grenades with a left side peek, but instead I just hopped into an offline factory and I can show a little bit more about that as well. So what do I mean when I talk about a left side peek? So I'm here just in an offline factory, and like I said, I really wish I've had a few clips. I probably rage deleted them because I was so frustrated that I kept doing this. But when we're talking about throwing grenades, just like in that reserve clip, you know, just standing out in the middle and then initiating a really long grenade throw animation is probably not a wise thing to do. And especially something to think about is if I'm on this side of factory, I wish we could kind of see it from the other perspective, but like I have to expose so much more of me when I'm peeking on my left side to throw a grenade down this hallway, as opposed to if I'm on the other end of the hallway and I'm peeking right. Because you shoulder on your right shoulder and the gun is right here, there's so much less of you that you actually have to expose to get a grenade off. So there were several clips where even shoreline, factory, anywhere, where if I'm trying to peek out to throw a grenade, you have to peek because you're throwing it with your right hand because you shoulder the weapon on your right shoulder. And this goes for just peeking corners and throwing grenades. But avoiding pushing a left side, I would say maybe throw a grenade like at this angle. You're not going to get it down, but you might scare them. Or if you think somebody's in here in breach room, or try to go for a reposition, or you can get to a lot of times you can get to a different cover source where you can maybe toss it with your right hand and just peek over your right shoulder. So avoiding that is a huge thing. I have tons of clips of me trying to get a grenade off really quickly with a left side peek, and either one of two things is going to happen. You're going to time it right, but you're going to overextend to get that grenade off, or you're going to mistime it and you'll throw the grenade right here as you're trying to swing around, and it's going to bounce back at you, and you might not die, but you have to now completely reposition and give your enemy a ton of time to think. So avoiding those left side peeks if at all possible, especially when chucking grenades. Now, you used to be able to blind fire your weapon and then press G and throw the grenade. But as you can see, it completely resets the blind fire, and you can't do that anymore. You used to be able to blind fire up and throw grenades over things, and you used to be able to blind fire and throw grenades at like crazy angles. You can't do that anymore. So when throwing grenades down halls, especially if somebody's there, you can kind of master the art of pressing G and then really quickly pulling the lean off right before. It's tricky with timing, but that's definitely going to help minimize how much of your character is shown. You know what I mean? Once again, I'm not going to get it all the way down the hall. I mean, you can try and like angle up a little bit to get yourself a little bit farther up. That's definitely going to minimize, or like we said, like when we were talking about the reserve clip, starting behind cover and just swinging out. That way you can get a little bit more view. You definitely, so many of my Beyond the Graves, a lot of what I talk about is overextending. It's one of my biggest issues. So when you do that, you don't want to, you know, overextend all the way out to here, because if somebody is out there, but this gives you, once again, it's minimizing the amount of time your enemy gets to see you. And if they see that grenade come around the corner, even if they are ADS at you, they might, you know, turn around and run. You know, we've seen a lot of people use like M67s. You can throw an M67 straight down and then push across because the fuse time is really low. That definitely falls into using grenades as a tool, using them as something that you're not really expecting to get kills with. That's a great way to do left sides if you have to, because you can kind of throw like an M67 right here in this corner. You've got plenty of time to move across. It's going to blow up behind the filing cabinet. You're probably going to be fine right here, and they're not going to know it's an M67. They're just going to hear the little tink, tink, tink and run away. So you can be a lot more strategic with grenades than a lot of people think. Some of the top tier players, if you watch them, they use grenades a lot and they don't get a lot of grenade kills. They're really just 500 IQing it. They're putting their enemy exactly where they want them. They're positioning their grenades where they want them. I could throw a grenade right in that corner and then push across here and hug this and probably be fine, because it's going to explode in this corner and I'm not going to get any shrapnel to me. There's a lot of ways to do it, but the big don'ts are try not to do it on a left side peek, because you have to way overextend. And if you are going to throw a grenade, don't initiate the animation while you're exposed. Try and either give a quick lean or start it and then kind of move out and move back in with a little bit of AD. So those are my thoughts on grenades. I have been dying trying to throw them a lot recently. So I've been consolidating a lot of these thoughts and wanted to kind of share these. So hopefully it helps. Hopefully if you find yourself either not bringing grenades because you just feel like you don't ever throw them, or blowing yourself up, or dying while trying to throw them, then hopefully some of these tactics and some of these strategies and some of these thoughts will help you be a little bit more confident and hopefully get you some more grenade kills, either for your task or just in general in Escape from Tarkov. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you liked the video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. All that stuff helps me out a ton, a lot more than you think. So thank you so much to those that do that. Like we said before, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. And if you're looking for people to play with, we have an awesome Discord community with like 5,000 people in there, really active, looking for group channels and a Sherpa system. It's an awesome place to be. That link is down below as well. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.